Hey there, so welcome to Blockchain Prime, and in today's video we are going to create frontend for our greeted app. And as you know, if you're following along, then in the previous video we wrote our smart contract from scratch and also deployed it on Kava testnet. So in this video we are just going to develop the frontend for it, and basically we are not developing frontend from the scratch. We are going to use a utility tool which is known as create Kava dApp, and after using it we will be just making some changes in the front end, and in the next video we are just going to link this front end with the back end, which is going to be Kava blockchain or Kava network. So yeah, this pretty much sums our today's video as well as the next video which we are gonna make soon. So without further ado, let's get started. Just open any code editor, and in this case we are using VS Code as most of the developers do, and just open the terminal and write npx create Kava dApp. So it will just make a boilerplate for you, and this tool is developed by blockchainprime, so make sure to check it out because it really simplifies the process of making dApp. So what is your project name? It is Kava dApp. Are you sure you want to create your Kava dApp in Kava dApp folder? Yes, I'm sure. So there seems to be some problem here. Okay, got it. So for some reasons it is fetching older version of create Kava dApp. So in case you encountered this similar problem, then just type latest at the end of this, like npx create Kava dApp @latest. Then it is going to fetch the latest version which is available out there. So yeah, yes, so now it is going to create my Kava dApp. So yeah, you can see here is one folder which is my Kava dApp. It just says change this directory to my Kava dApp and run yarn and yarn start. So cd my Kava dApp clear yarn, and by typing yarn we are just going to install all the packages which are listed in this package.json file. Basically these packages are the dependencies which are required by our dApp. So yeah, after that just write yarn dev, press enter, and it has started our dApp on this port. So just click here and it's gonna open the tab for us. So this is Kava Flipper dApp, and if you press connect, it is going to show error like connect to network Kava EVM this. So okay, basically you have to enter all these details in the MetaMask. So I have already done so, and I have already told you how to do it in our previous videos. So I'm just gonna switch the network to Kava EVM here and entering my password. And yeah, so we have 74.998 Kava, and yeah, this is the dApp. Now when I click on connect wallet, it just open this screen, and here we can see that there is a value known, there is a value which is true, and if I want to toggle it, I can click on toggle value. It asks me to make a transaction. When I click confirm, it is going to change its value to false. So it sometimes take a little bit of time. So yeah, now when I clicked on get value, it has fetched that it is false. So yeah, that's basic Flipper dApp. But we are not making a Flipper dApp, we are gonna make a greeted app, on basically a dApp in which we are going to input a message, and that message will be saved in the blockchain, and when we click get message, it will fetch the value from the blockchain. Pretty much similar like this, just instead of toggling the value, we will be setting a value, and we will be reflecting a value. Obviously, like this is reflecting false, true. So instead of this value, we will be having message, and there must be an input field as well from which we can set message, right? So restarting or refreshing this page. Now we are gonna make some changes in the front end so as to make it like suitable for our app. Like we are not making Flipper app, so change this name Flipper to greeter, change this description as well, and while changing all these you will get to know the architecture of this tab, this project, so it will be easier for you to customize it later, because ultimately we are gonna use this boilerplate in most of our project which we are going to deploy on the Kava chain, right? So it's great idea to go through this whole code to understand how it works. So the first thing, okay, let me just open this folder in another code editor so that it will be easier for you to visualize all the files. So yeah, the first directory is node modules, and these node modules are basically all the packages which are required by our dApp. So dependencies as well as their dependencies are installed here, and if you delete these modules then your dApp is not going to run, so make sure you install it by running yarn command. So that is the reason we ran yarn command in the beginning, so that this folder will be created inside which all the dependencies are stored. The next thing is public. So public is a directory in which public files are present, like Kava, white.svg and stuff like that. So basically you can store the data which should be available to public, like photos, few videos, fonts, and like logo, stuff like that. The next thing is SRC. SRC stands for source, and here are all the components which are required by our dApp, like components, contracts, and few other files, utility files, and like that. So let's ignore this for now, and there is this Kava or .env file in which we are basically storing environment variables, so we don't need to change anything here. As well as this index.html is the file which is having a root directory or a root division inside which all the data is fetched from this source and rendered here. So no need to change it here, like no need to change any of the things in body. You just have to change this title. So this title is visible here, like Kava-Flipper dApp. So if I change this Flipper to greeter, it will be changed here as well. Okay, so I was not running the server, so for that I have to run yarn dev, and now I have to refresh. So yeah, it is now Kava greeter app. So this was the only thing which we needed to change here. Now package.json, this is the file which is consisting of all the configurations, like what is the name of this app, is it private, version, type, scripts. Yeah, like these are the scripts which we can run. So recently we ran yarn dev, so it runs this command, and this command basically builds our project in the development mode and runs it. So yes, these are the dependencies, these are the developer dependencies, dev dependencies or development dependencies. Okay, so this is white config file, we don't need to change anything here. As well as this yarn.log file is automatically generated, so you don't need to change anything here as well. So now coming back to source folder or SRC and discussing the structure of it. So in the app.jsx we are having multiple functions, multiple imports from different type of components and stuff like that. So now let's start changing this front end so that it will be suitable for our app. The first thing is this header. So we are going to go to this components folder. Inside header we are going to change the name of the app. So it is Kava greeter app. Cool, it changed. Now we don't need this much unnecessary data, so clicking on summary and deleting everything from here because we don't need it, and we don't need you anymore. So yeah, basic. Now we have to click on connect wallet. So here we can see that it is Kava greeted app, but instead of showing this false value, we want it to show the message, and there should be an input field as well where we can enter our text which we want to store in the blockchain. And instead of get value, we should be having a button named as get message, and in place of toggle value we should be having a button named as set message. So yeah, we have to just change some names, and the front end is prepared fully. Like, we don't have to customize it further. And in case you want to customize it more, like changing color of these fonts or background or like this thing, then you can just go to app.css or index.css and make some necessary changes which you want to do, and that will be fine. So yeah, coming back to this tab, like you can see the value of flipper here, but we don't want it to like reflect this thing. We want it to change it something like you can see the message here, and below that it is going to have something like you can set message here. So let's make an input field first. So for making all these components, you have to go to app.jsx file, scroll down, and here inside this return you can add anything you want it to return here. So this false is a value, so let's search for this. Yeah, so there is a component named as value, below which we want to add an input field. So this is basic HTML, and I hope you know it, and if you don't, then maybe you are just in a wrong playlist because you are going through some advanced topics. So I would recommend you to learn some basic HTML and some basic CSS before proceeding to watch these videos, because it will be really helpful for you. Otherwise it won't make any sense. So yeah, I added an input field, and we can see it here. The placeholder is going to be set message. Yeah, so we can change or add some message, and I don't want this like value to be this large. So for that I have to make changes in the CSS file, obviously. So what is the class of this value? So it is class name as value. So I'm just going to app.css, searching for something like dot value, and I'm going to reduce its font size to 80. Sorry, font size to 16. So yeah, this is fine. Cool. Okay, so when I hovered over it, its size increased. Okay, so it is because of this. So yeah, cool. So this is going to be the message which we are fetching from blockchain, and this is the text which we are submitting at the backend. And now we just need to change these two values, which is get value and toggle value. So let's search it here by get value. So let's change it to get message, and for toggle value set message. So in case you are wondering how this works, then let me tell you. Inside components we have a component named as button, and this button requires a function as well as a title. So we are setting title here, and we can pass any function which we want it to have, like the functionality which we want that particular button to have. So like this function is like this button is having functionality of get value. So in the next video we are going to change this get value to get message and make some changes there so that it will be able to fetch from the database or fetch from the blockchain, sorry, and yeah, stuff like that. So I hope you really enjoyed this video, and maybe you like got an idea how this dApp is built. And in case you're having problem, just ask us in the comment section below. We will surely solve all those queries. And just in case you want to make some changes in the UI of this dApp and want to contribute to this repository, then make sure to fork the repository on the blockchainprime GitHub channel, and we will leave a link in the description box below. So there you can go to the repository, fork it, make some changes and make a pull request. And if we really like your work, we will merge it with our create Kava dApp. So cool. And if you like this video, make sure to comment it below, and in the next video we are going to link backend with it. So see you in the next video.